Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sabrina and I have a clothing brand called Waseel Clothing, and you are watching my week in the studio. I started off the week finishing up some orders. I got a couple of corset orders over the weekend, so I was just working through those. I am really nostalgic about these corsets already because at the beginning of 2020 I was just releasing my first ever corset, and it was met with so much support and like so many people were in love with them. And the corsets were really what took my brand from 0 to 10. I don't want to say 100 because we're nowhere near 100, but in 2019 I had literally no orders, and then in 2020 my corsets just kind of blew up a little bit in my little circle of friends and people. So yeah, these corsets do mean a lot to me just because they were so well received, and I just, at this point, it's a very meditative state for me to make them. They take about 4 hours to make, and that doesn't even include like cutting them out and preparing all of the notions. So they're really like a labor of love, and they're also as sustainable can be with the resources I have. The fabric is made from vintage upholstery fabric that I source secondhand, sometimes from eBay, sometimes in thrift stores. It kind of just depends on what I find and where I find it. The lining is also organic, ethical cotton, so that is definitely a sustainable textile. And then all of the notions like elastic, boning, grommets, that's not sustainable. I don't know where to find that sustainably. So if you have suggestions for sustainable notions, let me know. I think this step of finishing up the lining and attaching it to the bodice is just my favorite step out of the whole process, because it's really when a bunch of random pieces come together into one like unreal garment. And to be honest, every time I make a corset, I kind of can't believe I did it. I'm really proud of these, so I'm not afraid to say that. One thing I do want to invest in 2021 is a better grommet press. I don't really know much about grommet presses. I just kind of bought one on Amazon that looked nice and sturdy, so I didn't have that like really crappy hand one that you can get at Joann's. You know, those do the trick if you're just doing grommets once, but I do a lot of grommeting, so I got this, and then my dad built this stand for me. Seeing the finished product of these is just really awesome. I love these so much, and I don't even have one for myself, so I need to make one for myself this year. That's like my biggest promise to myself for 2021. It's Tuesday, December 29th. We just dropped off an order at the post office that I got over the weekend. Shout out to you. Thank you for your order and support. Feels good to have everything caught up. Now I get to focus again on the gifts. This week is going to be a lot of gift making. I'm nervous to eat this egg because it's been in the fridge for a minute. It smells okay. Yeah, it's fine. I want to get a camera that's less or more subtle than the DSLR I'm filming on, but I'm freshly out of debt, so I don't really want to go back into debt for a camera, so I'm gonna have to start getting more bold with this. When I'm watching vlogs, I like seeing what people do entirely, not just in their studio. So yeah, I've been really diving into this studio vlog artist side of YouTube. Before this month, I'm sure other people can relate, but I was really in like a YouTube hole. Like the algorithm was just recommending me no offense to those creators, but garbage, like drama channels. And I don't know, like I do watch drama channels every once in a while, but I feel like the algorithm like extra pushes them, because I watch one video from like a drama channel and it's like my whole homepage is like now tea, drama, fucking what did Tana Mongeau do? And I'm just like, I really could not care less about that girl. So this like recent discovery of art vlogs has been like a huge source of inspiration and just motivation, I guess, because when you're sitting down in one place sewing all day, you run out of things to watch, you run out of things to listen to, and so these really long form vlogs that these artists put up, specifically Radia, I don't know her last name, but her username is Knives Meow, I think. But she puts out like damn near hour-long videos, and that's like perfect for me because I can sit and watch her pack orders or sew or like talk about her life as I'm working on my orders, and it just makes you feel less alone, more like you're in a community, even though I'm not really a part of the Illustrator community. But I did recently find this one YouTuber. I'll put her username here because I don't know off the top of my head. But she is not only a fashion designer, but she's a plus size / like size inclusive fashion designer. And she has like a degree, and like she talks about like her day and stuff. And so yeah, it was just really nice to find someone that does exactly what I'm doing, or like, you know, pretty close to. So yeah, shout out to her. I've also been inspired by Damon Dominique. I love his videos. He's just like a filmmaker, honestly. And he recommended this program, which I'm not gonna lie, is pretty fucking fantastic. It's called Notion, Notion.so. What I specifically like about Notion is the fact that it's not permanent. So I need to plan like really far in advance for my brand in order to like keep up with everything and just stay more goal oriented, because it's really easy for me when I'm designing to have an idea and just like jump on it, when I have a whole queue of ideas that I need to work through before I can even like touch that new idea. And for the longest time, I've just been keeping those ideas on little individual post-its and just moving it until they have a day that I can actually work on. And that's just like way too short-sighted for me. So with Notion, it just gives me this overall perspective that I can build my day-to-day to-do list off of. And if something changes or like I get ahead, which never happens, I can just easily like drag the task into a new day, or like I can put it into a new month, and it's so perfect. So last week my back was hurting so bad because I've been sitting on these plastic IKEA like kitchen table like $20 chairs for pretty much the entire time I've had my studio. So I finally, with a little bit of extra cash for the holidays, got a chair and it fits. Whew, I'm so happy. That only took 20 minutes, not bad. Yes.
When I had the pest problem, or when that guy came to fill the holes in my house because of the mouse, he also mentioned to me that I should be using a mop to mop away.
Although in response with your wedge heels, show them what all year. Although Mitchie remarks ill from last time, see him this summer and get to spend some time with him. But apparently back with the Connect 3 gang, played by the Jonas Brothers.
Start paying it off or whatever. And
I just did one of those like reflection posts that I feel like are kind of obligatory at this point with everyone sharing their highlights. I actually got here at 8 a.m., which I don't think I've ever done that, so I'm really looking forward to starting the new year on a good foot. Since we are in a pandemic and the virus has now mutated, evolved, I don't know what you want to use for that word, but essentially we now have a new COVID strain. It is 70% more contagious than the original COVID-19 strain, which is terrifying because COVID-19 is already an incredibly contagious virus. But yeah, recentering on gratitude and like wrapping up the year, I made a post kind of focusing about the studio because 2019 was a fucking ringer. I spent a lot of that year just working in overdrive, really trying to make Lucille an overnight success, feeling like shit because I just like kept putting out stuff and kept putting out stuff and kept trying and trying and trying, and nothing was moving. Like nobody was buying anything. There was, you know, my followers weren't really growing. It was just like incredibly stagnant. And that's just like how it is when you start a business from scratch. If you don't have a social media platform, the odds of you becoming one of these brands that's just like boom overnight is just so low, especially in clothing. I think the issue I had was I was comparing myself a lot to like earring brands and illustrators and those people are just in a totally different market. I had a really bad falling out with a group of people at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, like the first week of January. I felt so alone. I felt, for the first time in a very long time, very I had a lot of relapses and like that kind of stuff. After that happened, like the first week of January, my birthday's at the end of January, so a week before my birthday I was looking at studios because I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna stop spending money on all these collaborations, paying people, and just spend it on a space that I can really grow in. I was looking and I saw this one. It's a shared space. Not ideal, but like it's pretty nice. Got big windows. Big thing was it's close to home. This is cool. I saw another place in San Francisco that was even smaller. It just didn't seem like the most logical thing. I just had this horrible fucking year. And then I began 2020 with this studio. And I just like couldn't believe it. Like an affordable studio space near my house, nice like aesthetic building. I got the keys on my birthday, coming up on a 1-year anniversary here. And despite the year just being absolute fucking garbage for obvious reasons, I just can't help but be incredibly grateful and incredibly happy that I made it happen. I literally cannot thank everyone enough. Obviously the likes and the shares and the comments mean a lot, but the real people that stood out to me this year were the people who subscribed to the newsletter and the people who bought something. I'm incredibly grateful for this year.